Airline Exam Prep or 360 Aviation Academy. We are very, very happy to announce that we've achieved a 99% pass rate among our students in the recent Air India examination conducted for type-rated A320 first officers. So what's next? The simulator check is next, and I see that many of you have doubts on how to do a VOR radial interception. So today's class is about radial interception from the Mike Victor VOR, which is the Chennai VOR. So let's get started. If you look closely at the screen, you will notice that Mike Victor is already tuned in on VOR 1 and VOR 2, right? That's the Chennai VOR. So let's try and figure out first, where are we? What is the position of the aircraft? So if you look at the navigation display, we have selected, as you can see, the ROS VOR mode. Okay, so we have the ROS VOR mode of the navigation display. So if you look at the arrow mark, always remember, the arrow always points towards the VOR station, always, all right? So if this is the aircraft and this is the nose of the aircraft, you'll notice that the arrow is pointed behind the aircraft. That effectively means the VOR is behind you, right? The VOR is behind us, right? So, perfect. Now, which way are we heading? We're heading 070, and as you can see, the Mike Victor VOR is 12 nautical miles behind us. So, it's clear that we are on radial 070, right? And the VOR station is behind us, 12 nautical miles away from us. So, this effectively means that we have taken off from the Chennai runway, that is 070, and we are flying on our expected trajectory. So, let's have a look at the Jepson chart. So, this is the Chennai Jepson chart. All right, for runway 07. These red lines over here are alterations which I've made to make it clear to you that what the radials are, okay? And this red arrow over here is the position of the aircraft, okay? So let's assume that this red thick arrow here is the aircraft itself. So as you can see clearly over here, we are 12 nautical miles, right, with the VOR station behind us, and we are on the radial 070, okay? So the aircraft is heading 070, and we are on 12 nautical miles, so we're roughly around here, okay? From the Mike Victor VOR. Perfect. And this is the heading of the aircraft. All right. So now let's try and understand the other pointers and indications of the navigation display in VOR ROS mode. So let's have a look at what the FCOM says. So the FCOM, if you look at the indications and recording systems, okay, under aircraft systems, indications and recordings chapter, indications on ND, you can come across the ROS VOR mode. Now, what does the ROS VOR mode say? So it talks about the VOR course pointer and the lateral deviation bar. So these two things are required for us to track a VOR radial. So let's try putting that on. As you can see, I have not selected any course. What do you mean by course? Very simple. Course effectively means the path that you wish to fly, the end. Okay? It's simply the aircraft trajectory or the path that you wish to fly. So let's say that you want to fly the same path that we're maintaining right now, right? Let's say 071, right? Let's try that out. So the aircraft path is 071. Let's feed that into the course. Okay, and select that in the VOR course 2. So as you can see over here, right, you've got a course pointer which is flashed up, the blue color course pointer. So what does this mean? This effectively means, if you look at the blue line over here, that means your course pointer, the direction in which you have to head to fly this course, right, 071. So this is the direction you have to fly. And you will look at the FCOM says the exact same thing. VOR course pointer, this symbol points at the selected VOR course. So, perfect. Now, what does this blue arrow mean? This blue arrow, again, performs the same function as this arrow. An arrow mark always points towards the VOR station. So it just basically reminds you again that the VOR is behind you. All right? So now what about this line over here? All right, to make it simpler to understand, let me put a different course. Let me put course 060. Let's say you need to fly a course of 060. Okay? So as you can see here now, you can see that the course is now selected for 060. This is the course that you want to fly. All right? As you can see now, the blue line is to the left of the aircraft, right? It's to the left of the aircraft. So what does that mean? Let's look at the FCOM. The FCOM says this bar indicates the VOR deviation on a lateral scale. So it indicates the deviation of the VOR from your present position. Each dot corresponds to 5 degrees of lateral deviation, right? And finally, the arrow on the bar provides the to or from indication, right? So as you can see, the arrow is pointing towards the VOR station, and the VOR station is behind us, so we are flying from the VOR, right? We are flying from the VOR. So in this situation over here, we require to fly on a radial or the course of 060. So let's say your examiner in your airline sim assessment, let's make it a little tougher. Let's say the airline examiner asks you to fly on a course of a radial outbound of radial 030. So what would you do? You can select 030 on your course, And as you can see, this shows you your course heading, right? The course that you have selected, 030. And this shows the deviation bar, the lateral deviation bars shows that you have to fly left to intercept this course, 030. Now the question is, which heading would you fly to intercept course 030 or the radial 030 outbound? So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Jefferson chart. What does the Jefferson chart say? So if you can see here, I've already put in a course or radial of 030 outbound. So in this position, your aircraft is currently over here, right? And you need to fly and intercept this radial. So obviously you need to turn left, right? You need to turn left to do that. And obviously you can't fly 030, right? You can't turn left and just fly 030 because then you'll fly parallel to the VOR, parallel to this radial, right? So you can't fly the same heading. You need to fly an intercept heading. Now, what would the intercept heading be? A simple rule of thumb is just subtract 30 degrees from the direction that you want to go, right? So in this case, 030 minus 30 degrees, 360 degrees, right, is a very good intercept heading. So the aircraft will eventually intercept radial 030, right? And that's effectively what your course is telling you as well. You've selected that you want to fly on this path, 030, so the aircraft is telling you, please fly left, okay? This arrow simply indicates where the VOR is. Forget about the arrow, okay? The aircraft simply tells you, just fly left to fly on this course of 030. Let's try that out. So in this case, as we have decided, we are not simply going to fly 030, we are going to fly heading of 360, right? 030 minus 30 degrees, 360, and that will effectively put us in an intercept of radial 030. Let's try that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select 030 here on the FCU. There we go. So I've selected, my apologies, we're going to select 360 on the FCU. And as you can see, we have selected 360, the aircraft is turning left, all right? And the aircraft will eventually intercept radial 030. So right now, what is the current position of the aircraft? So as you can see very clearly here, we are on radial 070, right? We're flying away from Mike Victor, right? The station is in this direction, right? And now we're turning to heading 360. So let's try speeding up the aircraft so that you can see it much faster. So as you can see now, your VOR needle is moving, right? As you can see now, it's now 065, 060, right? 055. As you can see, as you get closer to radial 030, this needle will get active, all right? So remember, 5 degrees deviation, okay? That's what each of these dots indicate. So approximately at 040 degrees, you will notice that this needle becomes active, all right? So as you can see, the needle is going to get active very soon. And let's pause the simulator here for a second. So there we go. As you can see, now we are at radial 040, okay? And the needle is alive, okay? So at this point, let's look at the Jefferson for situational awareness. Where are we currently? We are on radial 040 and heading 360, okay? So, and how many nautical miles? Obviously 37 nautical miles from Mike Victor. So in this situation, we are approximately on radial, this is radial 030, this is 070. So we are approximately on radial 040, right? And we are heading 360. So this is exactly, my apologies, this is exactly how the aircraft is. This is exactly how the aircraft is positioned. Okay, so as you approach radial 030, your next point should be to align the aircraft to 030. Okay, so that you nice and evenly roll out and end up on this radial and you're flying this projected course, which is what your examiner has asked you to do. Okay, so let's do that. We can select the FCU back to 030, right? So that she intercepts our radial. Select it back to 030, and we'll beautifully roll out on our expected radial. So as the needle comes alive and is close to approaching 030, slowly start banking back to radial, or rather slowly start altering your heading back to 030. And as you can see, we are now approaching radial 030, and our course is aligned. We bring back the heading back to 030. and both our heading and course now currently match. So we have intercepted the radial as per the demand. How to do a selected VOR radial interception. However, there's one more way to go ahead and intercept a radial, and this is using your FMGS software. The second method is significantly much easier, and I would recommend if you're able to utilize the FMGS, it will make your sim assessment significantly easier. So let's try it out. So as you can see currently, we are at 11 nautical miles from Mike Victor. Remember, Mike Victor is behind us. We are established on radial 070. So it's exactly like how we've taken off from Chennai. So we are established on radial 070. The aircraft is pointing this way, and we are approximately at 10 nautical miles from Chennai. All right. So at this point, if the examiner or the air traffic control asks you to intercept radial 030 outbound, what do? Very simple. All you need to do is go to your FMGS, go to your direct, push the direct button, type in Mike Victor, and once you select Mike Victor, all you need to do, you have two options over here called radial inbound and radial out. So you've been asked to intercept the radial out 030. So just select radial 030 outbound. Now, before you insert it, always remember, check on the plan page so that you understand what's happening here. As you can see, this is the aircraft, this is the Chennai VOR and the airport, and as you've inserted radial 030, you can see that you have got a very clear radial 030, which is coming up as a yellow dotted line. So this is your intercept heading, all right? So let's keep the PFD open as well, all right? So at this point, as you can see, you're in heading mode. So what we're going to do is select radial 030 outbound, insert it. All right, as soon as you insert it, you've noticed now that the FMA reads nav is armed, which means the second the aircraft flies towards this radial, the aircraft will automatically intercept it and will start flying this heading as long as you manage nav in the FCU. So let's try that out. Let's try an intercept heading approximately, let's say, for example, 350 to 360. Let's try 350 now, all right, to make a sharper intercept. So I'm selecting heading 350. And the aircraft now is in a steady left turn to go ahead and intercept this radial, all right? So I'm keeping it in plan page so that you have a better situational awareness of what's happening over here. So, and remember, always manage the nav, all right? So push the button, manage the nav. So as soon as the aircraft rolls out an intercept heading, it will intercept this radial 030, all right? So let's try speeding up the aircraft. So currently we are crossing heading of 030. So as you can see, we're almost aligned at this point, right? Now let's put it back to the arc mode so that you can see clearly what's happening. So as you can see, the nav mode is engaged. I pushed the button. As you can see on the arc mode, now we can see an intercept, all right? The FMGS is automatically computing an intercept point with radial 030, all right? So you will notice shortly, as we approach this intercept heading, the aircraft will continue and establish itself on radial 030. If you look at the radial, we are currently approaching radial 040. Now we are approaching radial 035. And as we slowly approach radial 030, remember, nav is armed. You have to manage nav on the FCU, all right, after you select the intercept heading. So at the intercept heading, you'll notice that the nav has now engaged, and the aircraft now is turning right towards a heading of 030 to establish itself on the radial 030. As you can see, we've commenced a right turn. So while the aircraft establishes itself, what happens at this point? All we've done is quite simply, we've taken a left turn to intercept. We continue to fly the aircraft. Apologies. Continue to fly the aircraft. And then as soon as the aircraft intercepts the radial, it's established itself on radial 030 for Delta Papa November, radial outbound. All right. So this is exactly what the aircraft did today. So just to recap, the way to do it is step number 1. Go to direct, insert Mike Victor at the waypoint, and insert radial outbound 030. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, select an interception heading. And then step number 3, manage nav. Remember, push. If you don't do that and you don't see that the nav is armed over here, the aircraft will continue past radial 030. It will not continue to intercept radial 030. So as you can see, the aircraft now is rolling out on 030 and we are beautifully established on radial 030. All right, using the FMGS software. I hope this has helped you understand VOR radial interception. If you have any other queries or would like to attend our classes, please feel free to contact us. Our details are in the brochure after and at the beginning of the video. Thank you very much for choosing Airline Exam Prep or 360 Aviation Academy.